weren't just powerful, they were loud, brutal, and unapologetically mean. From high-revving screamers to earth-shaking big blocks, these are the 70s engines that roared louder than the competition. Chevrolet 454 LS6V8. The 454 LS6V8 was Chevrolet's most powerful big block, producing 450 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. Found in the 1970 Chevelle SS454, it had rectangular port heads, a high-lift camshaft, and a 780 cubic feet per minute Holley carburetor. Its deep, thunderous idle turned into an earth-shaking roar under full throttle. The high 11.25-to-1 compression ratio demanded high-octane fuel for peak performance. When paired with open headers, it produced an unfiltered, drag-strip scream. The LS6's exhaust note was raw and brutal, making it one of GM's loudest big blocks ever. Even today, a properly tuned LS6 Chevelle can make modern muscle cars sound tame. Chrysler 426 HEM IV8. The 426 HEM IV8, known as the Elephant Motor, was a dominating force in muscle car history. Producing 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, it powered the Dodge Charger RT, Plymouth Roadrunner, and Cuda. Its hemispherical combustion chambers allowed for massive airflow and explosive combustion. The Hemi's deep, throaty idle quickly turned into a ferocious, high-pitched wail. It was so dominant that NASCAR banned it for being too powerful. The Hemi-powered Mopars had a legendary exhaust note, making them instantly recognizable. If you've ever heard a wide-open Hemi at full throttle, you'd never forget it. Ford 429 Super Cobra Jet V8. The 429 Super Cobra Jet was Ford's answer to the HEMI, built for pure high-speed aggression. Found in the 1970-71 Torino Cobra and Mercury Cyclone, it had 375 underrated horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. Equipped with a radical solid-lifter camshaft and huge intake ports, it was a high-revving monster. The aggressive cam profile gave it a deep, lumpy idle that screamed performance. At wide-open throttle, it let out a high-pitched, banshee-like scream. The Super Cobra Jet was untamed and raw, making it one of Ford's loudest engines ever. This engine didn't just growl, it roared like a thunderstorm on wheels. Pontiac 455 Super Duty V8. The 455 Super Duty V8 was Pontiac's final stand against the dying muscle car era. With over 500 pound-feet of torque and real horsepower estimates exceeding 350 plus, it was a torque monster. Found in the 1973-74 Firebird Trans Am and Formula, it had oversized cylinder heads and a high-flow exhaust. At idle, it had a menacing, low-frequency growl, unlike any other Pontiac V8. Under acceleration, the 455 SD unleashed a deafening race car-like roar. It was one of the last truly loud muscle car engines before emissions regulations silenced them. Chrysler 446 Pack 58. The 446 pack was Mopar's brutal big block with triple two-barrel carburetors. Producing 390 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, it was a torque-heavy powerhouse. The three Holley carbs gave it a unique induction roar as the secondaries opened. Its high-lift camshaft and free-flowing exhaust created a deep, aggressive idle. When the throttle was slammed, it transformed into an explosive, high-pitched wail. Found in Dodge Chargers, Challengers, and Plymouth Roadrunners, it was a street terror. The 446 pack was a triple threat: powerful, loud, and untamed. Buick 455 Stage 1 V8. The Buick 455 Stage 1 was an underestimated brute that packed 510 pound-feet of torque, the highest of any American muscle car in 1970. Found in the Buick GSX and GS 455, it had larger valves, an aggressive camshaft, and a high-flow carburetor. At idle, the Stage 1 had a deep, rolling rumble, warning of its hidden fury. When pushed, it delivered a smooth yet ferocious roar, unique to Buick's engineering. Despite being a luxury brand, Buick's 455 could go head-to-head with Hemis and LS6 Chevys. The underrated nature of the engine meant few expected its raw power. If you heard a Stage 1 roaring at full throttle, you knew it meant business. AMC 401 V8. AMC's 401 V8 was the company's largest and most powerful engine, producing up to 330 horsepower in factory form. Found in cars like the Javelin AMX, Rebel Machine and Matador, it gave AMC a real contender in the muscle car wars. Unlike other big blocks, the 401 had a high-revving nature, producing a sharp, aggressive exhaust note. The factory free-flow heads and long-duration cam gave it a snappy, punchy throttle response. At full throttle, the 401 let out a fierce, high-pitched bellow, surprising those who doubted AMC's muscle. Cadillac 500 V8. The Cadillac 500 V8 was the largest displacement production V8 ever made, producing 400 horsepower and 550 pound-feet of torque in 1970. Found in Cadillac Eldorados, it was built for luxury but packed serious muscle. The engine's deep, baritone idle gave it an authoritative, smooth presence. Under load, it delivered a rolling, thunder-like exhaust note, making it the ultimate sleeper motor. Despite its weight, performance tuners turned the 500 into a drag-racing monster. When uncorked, its deep, window-rattling exhaust could be felt as much as heard. It was proof that luxury and brute force could coexist in one monstrous engine. Mopar 340 6-pack V8. The Mopar 340 6-pack V8 was a small block with a big attitude, producing 290-plus underrated horsepower. Found in Dodge Darts, Plymouth Dusters, and AAR Cudas, it was a high-revving powerhouse. Unlike the low-revving big blocks, the 340's lightweight internals allowed it to scream past 6,000 RPM. The triple two-barrel carburetors gave it a unique induction howl, blending with a crisp exhaust note. At idle, it had a sharp, aggressive burble, distinct from larger engines. At full throttle, it let out a high-pitched wail, sharper than the deep roars of big blocks. The 346-pack proved that small blocks could be just as loud and mean as their larger rivals. Chevrolet ZL 1427 V8. The ZL 1427 V8 was Chevrolet's most exotic big block, made entirely from lightweight aluminum. Originally built for racing, it produced 500-plus underrated horsepower and was found in a few rare Copo Camaros and Corvettes. The solid lifter camshaft and high-flow heads gave it an explosive power band, making it a high-revving monster. At idle, the ZL1 had a deep, mechanical growl, but when revved, it unleashed a piercing, race car-like scream. Its lightweight construction allowed it to rev freely, creating a ferocious, high-pitched exhaust note. Many consider the ZL one of the loudest and most aggressive-sounding engines GM ever built. When properly tuned, its wide-open throttle roar was pure, unfiltered muscle car heaven. These engines shook the streets and roared like beasts. Which one's your favorite? Comment below, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more classic car content. See you in the next one.